Okay. Okay, great. So now the book is added to my resource center. What I was trying to show you before was over here on the right-hand side where you can see all the links to tech support, our virtual events that you could log into. And up across the top is the My Account section where you could always edit your password or account information, and your My Rep where you'd be able to get our contact information as well. So if you'd ever want to search for a book, you can do it in this first search bar where it says add a product. And then once you've got this drop down that I was talking about where I have tons of titles here, and you can move back and forth between the books that you're using. So for this, I just wanted to show you the instructor companion site. So whenever you add a book, you'll get this instructor companion site link, and it will open up in a new tab. But this will have all of the resources. In the past, they might have been available with CDs that instructors would get with the book. For the most part, for any of our new editions, they're all online through here. And so you can actually add resources by chapter by using this drop down to look at the resources for each chapter. But if you want to download them for the entire book, you can do that right under here where it says book resources. So you can see you can download the test banks, the PowerPoint lectures to use in class with your students, the instructor's manual, which will be a Word document and have, suggestions for discussions in class, questions you can ask your students. It'll summarize the main topics and concepts from that chapter and just give you some examples of ways that you can help structure your in-person class. In course support and instructor downloads, if you open these up, you'll be able to download other files that are helpful with the course. So feel free to, come back here and take the chance to download all of these things in case you want to use them. For these, you will just have to click I accept the license agreement to be able to get in here. Yep, so that's the test bank errata sheet right there. And then in course support, let's see what's in that one. And then in course support, you've got standards mapping. So mapping to the core curriculum map is also there. So are there any basic questions about the instructor resource site before we move into MindTap? Mm-hmm. You know what? I would have to check back with you on that. So once we're in MindTap, we can look and see what all the chapters are in there. But I'm not 100% certain myself. So let me check on that. So, are your students getting the printed lab manual, or they're trying to do it all digitally? Okay. Okay, geez, yeah. Well, I'm glad that you could jump on to kind of learn a little bit more right now. Let me check up on that for you because I think I was told this in the past, but I'm not certain, so I can get an answer for you after the call. Is that okay for the lab manual? Okay, cool. So that's your instructor resource site. I'm going to jump in now to, this is just a sample demo course that I created with links to a surgical technology. So like you saw when you've gone into your Blackboard course, there's already folders and some of these links that have the Cengage pinwheel here. What you'll see right in the beginning of your course, you will have the main link to MindTap. That should have the name of the course there, and then you'll have your weekly folders that will also have individual MindTap assignments in them. But you'll also have a Cengage Tech Support link right here on your front page. And note that if you or your students are ever having trouble inside MindTap, if you think something's not quite working right or anything like that, have your students navigate to this link, because what it's going to do is it's going to open up a new window, and you always have to allow for pop-ups because it's always going to open a pop-up here. But it's going to open a new window that's going to take you right to the tech support ticket creation page. And this is actually starting you off on step like 3 of 4. So the fact that your course is linked with your Blackboard, we're already collecting information for any tech support tickets, like what version of Blackboard you have, what school you're associated with, what book you're using, all of that, which you would normally have to include in here. You're not going to have to if you click that link. So that's a good place to go if your students are having any issues. Yep. Okay, okay, great. So I'm going to get into the main MindTap course right now by clicking this main link. Note that the first time, so have you clicked on any of these pinwheel type links yet? Right. Okay. Okay, I'd have to see what that link was, but if you go into like one of your weekly folders, right, and then there will be some assignments with the pinwheel, try clicking on one of those. You should at least the very first time that you click on one of those in the new window that opens up, it will ask you to log into your Instructor Resource Center account. So that's why it's important to know how to get in here, because the same account that you've got for this, it'll ask you to log in the first time that you open up one of the individual assignments. So it'll literally just ask you to enter your username and password. Once you do, it's linking your Blackboard course with your Cengage account. And after that, all of the links should open normally. So so it'll look basically the same. So just like the students, just like you, when the students click on one of the assignments, it's going to ask them to create a Cengage account. And so if they don't have a Cengage account already, they can, complete the wizard to be able to create one. If they already have one, they can log in with their password and username. And it's just, basically connecting the account on our end at Cengage with your specific Blackboard course. And your students will have a printed access code that will allow them to get in here. So once they log in to their account or create an account and log in, they'll be asked to enter their printed access code at that time. Does that make sense? So because you're an instructor, you don't have to have a printed access code. You're not purchasing anything. You have free access. The students are getting a printed access code as part of their materials for the course. So they will be directed to type that in once they click on one of these links. And the actual printed access code itself also has directions on there for students and will tell them how to do that. Okay. Okay, yep, that makes sense. So this is literally a random course that I built. It's not a complete copy of what was built for your specific course. And I apologize for that. But if you, so what a link that I'm going to give you after this is this link to the service and training site for your course. This is me right here, but everyone else at Cengage that you can feel free to contact is up here. Jeanette Wilson, our enterprise digital specialist, she's the one who created your courses and then put them into Blackboard for you guys. Okay, so she actually has a video right here, the MindTap links in Blackboard, where she's actually in one of those courses, and it looks exactly like what you'll see. So that is how the book is set up. Like if I click into one of these MindTap assignments and the window opens, you'll see that that's how this book has the assignment structured. It's like do, practice, and that kind of wording. Yeah. So that's just because I created this one on my own. So this probably isn't exactly what yours will look like. But I would suggest, this video that Jeanette made. And I don't know if I can
Hello,
fast
American
forward on
National
this, but
University
you'll
Surg
see
Tech
once it gets there
instructors.
that
My
it
name
does
is
walk
Jeanette
you through
Wilson, and I'm
exactly
your
what
Inside
your screen is
Enterprise
going to
Digital
look like.
Specialist. The
So
purpose
that's
of this
a quick
video
one.
is just to walk you through your MindTap course on Blackboard to see where everything is located and
Okay,
how to
so
use
were these
it.
students who had purchased the book like a couple semesters
So
ago
here we
before
are
you guys were
at
using
the
MindTap?
ANU Blackboard sign-in.
Yes. Okay.
All of the
Great. Yeah.
courses for
So if
Surg
you
Tech
could,
are set up the
if you
same
know which
way, so I'm
students
just going
those
to go into
are,
one of them as an
we just need to
example
collect a number of
for
how many
term
students are in that
169.
situation, and we're trying to get codes for them.
All of the content from
Okay,
MindTap has been
because in the
added to your
future,
course
you know,
content
all
by
the
week
new incoming
area.
students will
When
be
you get to this
purchasing those
page,
codes
if
and
you
have
scroll
them
down to the
already. But we
bottom, you'll
understand that
see
there's some
a couple
students
links. So one
who
is
are
the
already in the
MindTap
program and they
course level
purchased a
link.
book
If you click
already,
this
and they
as an
should have to
instructor,
purchase something
you'll be
else.
taken directly to the MindTap
Yeah,
course.
we
The
just need
very
to know
first time
a
you click
number
on
of how
this,
many
if you
there
have
are.
never linked
We
your
were just talking about that
instructor
today,
account from
actually.
Cengage to
Um,
Blackboard previously,
so yeah,
you
so
will
feel
be
free
asked
to
one time
send that to
to
Jeanette
provide your
if you know
instructor
how many students are in
credentials.
that
All
situation
of
in your
you have
class.
instructor accounts with Cengage, but if you
Okay,
need your password
cool.
reset,
So
please reach out
let's
to me and I'll
get
be happy to help
into
you.
one of these
The next link is
and
for
take a look
Cengage
more
tech
at
support.
what one
So
of these assignments are
if
going to look
anyone
like.
has a technical question, if
Okay,
you
so
click
it's
on
opened
this
in
link
another
and your
window here
students have
for me.
access to this as
It'll just
well,
take a few moments
what will
to
happen is it will
load.
kind of
But
pull
note,
some
if any of your students
information
are
from
having
the
trouble
students,
and they're clicking a link and they
such
don't
as their
see anything
browser,
happening,
their
it might be that
operating
their pop-up
system,
blocker
whether they
is
have
blocking that
cookies
window
and
from
pop-ups
opening. You had seen
enabled,
that
kind of
happen
basic
when I
troubleshooting
first tried to click
information so that
something.
the
So
tech support
just
team
make
doesn't
sure that
have
they're
to
checking
come
their
back and ask
browser
that. So if they
to
have any sort of
turn off
technical
that pop-up
questions, I
blocker
would
if it's
recommend showing them where
hiding
this
any of these
is,
windows from you.
so that way they can submit a
So I
ticket
clicked into an
through
assignment that's
Blackboard.
actually part of the ebook. I'm going to get out of this to
Once
be
we
able
go
to show
into the
you
weekly
the
folders, you'll see the
full
chapter
view.
level links
Um,
here. So
so
if you
right
click on
here,
one
this
of
is
these
the kind of
links,
home
it takes you
screen when you
directly
come
to
into
that
MindTap.
chapter
I don't
in the
have any
MindTap
students, but
course.
if I did
So
and they were
all of the
completing
content is there,
assignments,
not
I'd be
just
able to
the
see a scatter plot
assigned
here of how my overall
assessments,
course was
but
doing.
also the
Um,
ebook
right
and study
here,
tools
up here where
and
my
other
mouse is right
resources
now,
for
there's a
the students to
calendar and
use
then
when they
two
are
different icons that are sets
in
of
the
blinds.
MindTap
There are
course.
three main views that you
So
can
this,
work
I clicked
in
on chapter
MindTap,
1,
and
it's
it's
taking me directly to
automatically
the
going
chapter
to
1
bring you
folder.
here
There's a prepare,
to the weekly
read,
view, which is this
study,
calendar. This
and
is helpful
do
for
folder
students because
in
if you have any
the Mind
assignments
tab.
due on a specific
And
date,
all of the
you'll be
chapters
able
are
to
set up the
see
same
the
way.
list of
So
assignments
this
right
will be
here
very
and kind of look at
consistent
it
for
week by
students no
week.
matter
So
what
I had
level of
created this
Surg
back
Tech
on
they're in.
September 19th.
The
You can see I
prepare
have my
and the
assignments
do
here that
folders
students
are
can
the
get
ones that
to.
have the
And
graded
then over here on the
assignments.
right, the assignments that are going
These
to
have
count
been
as
set
a
up
grade
as a master
ultimately into your
course,
Blackboard
but you do
gradebook
have the
have this
ability to
kind of
make changes
orange
if you want.
G symbol
One thing I
that
wanted to
shows the
call
count on
out
the
is that the
grade and then
case
the percentage
studies
that they've
have
completed so
open-ended
far.
questions.
So your
Right
students are going to work
now,
folder
those
by
are
folder
graded, so the students will
in your
be
Blackboard course,
asked
but this is
to
just kind of a
complete that
helpful
for
view
a
for
grade,
them.
and it would
If I
require
navigate here to the
instructor
second view,
grading
this is
since
the
it is
view that I spend
open-ended.
most of the time in. I
And
think is
in order for
useful as
that
an
grade to come
instructor.
through to the
So
Blackboard
this is called
gradebook,
the
the
unit
instructors
view,
would
and
need
this
to
will be
do
broken
the
down
grading on
in
these
the same
open-ended
organization as your
questions.
print book. So this
If you
book
would
has three
not like
different
to have the
sections. If I
open-ended
click in
questions
one of the
count as a
sections, I'll be
grade,
able to see
all you need to
the
do
chapters
is
1 through
hover over
5
the
are in the first
assignment, click on the
section,
pencil
chapters
icon,
6 through 12 are in the
hit
second,
Edit
and chapters
Options, and
13
then it
through
will load the
24
assignment
are
options,
here in the
and there's
third.
a box here we can
So
check
if
to
I
make
want
it
to click into a
practice.
particular chapter, I
If you do
certainly
not want
can,
to
and then I
have
can
any
see
open-ended
all of the
questions
activities that are
to
available
grade
there.
or
So
for
these
your
are probably
students
the
to
folder
complete
names that
as a
you were
grade,
seeing, right?
I would
Prepare,
recommend
read,
going
study,
through
and
these
do.
steps. You can also
Yeah,
email
so
me if you would like
that's
to
how
make changes
this
as
particular
a
mind tap
whole
is
for all of the
organized. That
course,
in each
and I
chapter,
can take
students
care
are
of it
going to
for you.
have some preparatory activities that are going to kind of
There
bring them
are
engaged in the
quizzes. These
topic.
are actually
Then they're going to do their
auto-graded. The
weekly
fill-in-the-blank
reading.
quiz and the
There's some
multiple
study
choice
resources they
true-false,
can
as
use,
well
and
as
then
the
in do, this
certification
is where their
style quiz are all
assignments that count
auto-graded.
for a
So
grade
the
are
only
going
ones
to
that have
do.
open-ended questions
The
are the
third
case
view up
studies.
here is
So it's up to
only
you if you
for
want to use
instructors.
those
It's a
as a
date
grade.
manager
If
view.
not, let me
So
know and I
if
can
you
help you make
want
them
to look at your
practice.
assignments
They would
and give
also
them
need to be
specific due
removed from the
dates when
Blackboard
students
Grade
can
Center.
access them and then when they are no longer accessible for for students, you can do
Everything
that
that you
here.
see
So you can see
is
it's kind
already
of an
linked for
outline. Here's
you.
chapter 1.
There's
It's got that
no
prepare,
further
read,
action
study, and
required
do,
from
and then
you
all
other
the
than that
individual
initial
assets that I've got available
login
here.
with your
I can
instructor
see them for every
credentials.
single chapter. I can add a date to these just by clicking
Please
these
let me
little
know if you
calendars
have any
over here. So
questions. I'd be
if I'm in
happy to
chapter
help and
2 and I
enjoy
want
your
students to
MindTap
be able to
course.
get into this case study today, I can just click the calendar. I'm choosing today. It's saying 2 p.m. because we're at 2:23 right now. And then I can give them a due date. Let's say I want them to get this done by Friday at midnight, so right at 11:59 p.m. I can do that. And so now I've set dates for this assignment to be available. If you want to make an entire chapter, the same dates all at one time, you can just click out a little bit further. So I'm clicking out at the chapter level, and it's going to select everything for me. And I can change all of these dates right up here with one click. So I'm going to, again, make this available today, and the rest are going to be due on Friday at 11:59 p.m. I just click apply, and then now those dates have been created for all of those assignments. Okay, so it's just a way for you to be able to change the times that students can get in there, and then when they're due. Okay. Okay. Something else I want to show you from the main screen here. Right up here you can see it says my name Abby Hess. You'll see your name when you log in. If you click this, there's a little bit of information you can learn. So something that's good to do the first time that you're in MindTap, and then also to have your students do, is to click this and then do the system check. This will just check and make sure that MindTap is performing as well as it possibly can. You can see it's checking to make sure that pop-ups are enabled, checking your version of Flash, that your cookies are enabled, and things like that. So if there are any problems, this doing the system check will then let you know what you might need to change or update in your browser to make sure that it's performing correctly. You also here as the instructor have this course setup option. This will show you again the name of your course, the start and end dates for your course, and your time zone. This also gives your instructor course key. So if you ever are working with tech support and they ask for the course key, that's right here. You can also always make sure that this information is correct for your course. And the last thing that you might use here is this FAQ. This is a good place. There's a bunch of frequently asked questions. These will lead you to helpful videos and articles if you want to be able to use that. So that's all there for you. Okay. Do you have any questions about that so far? Okay, cool. Yeah, we can get into more of the assignments in the those right now. Have you seen anything with the interactivity of the ebook? That was where I was going to head next. Yeah. Yeah, so that's one of them. So if you go into any of these readings, then the readings are always going to have this little book icon here. So there will be videos. There's also more ways that students and you can interact with the text as well. So the first time you're opening up any chapter, it's going to take you to the hyperlink table of contents, which I like because you can quickly get to a section of the book. And then this is what you saw, right? So there are videos built in here that go along with that particular topic that students can watch. You can make it full screen right here. There is closed captioning and a transcript with any of these videos. Beyond that, you'll also see that any of the key terms in the text are automatically hyperlinked with the definition. All of these also exist as flashcards that students can study. So over here in this app doc, we can quickly go through some of these tools, but the one that looks like two index cards, that's the flashcard app. So any of these key terms throughout any of the chapters, students can study here right on their computer. They can study it on an iPad or a Chromebook, or they can even actually study flashcards on their iPhone or Android smartphone if they want to. There's a MindTap app that they can download. So all of these are right here. I can also, in this little settings wheel, decide to see the key term first versus the definition first, and I can also print that deck out. So after talking to thousands of students, they still tell us that their number one way to study is to create flashcards. So having these pre-built in here and printable or able to study on your iPhone is often used by students. And you can see I can check out the flashcards for any chapter right here. Yep. Yep. Besides that, if students highlight any part of the text, they're going to have this window open up where they can highlight in one of 4 colors. Maybe blue means something different to me versus pink. As the instructor yourself, you also have a 5th color. So if you're going through, let's say you're going to do chapter 8 next or something, and you're reviewing the ebook a couple days before your students are going to start reading, and you see something that's very important that you want them to pay attention to, you can highlight this and use this orange color that has the black arrow. And this is a shared highlight. So because I highlighted this now, when any of my students are going back through and reading the ebook, they'll see that that's highlighted and that it's something I want them to pay attention to. Likewise, if I highlight any other text and I can click Add Note, I can click a note right here and save it for myself, or as the instructor, if I want to share it with my students, I can just click this little share button and that note will now turn orange. And again, when your students come reading through, they'll be able to see this note and see what you said. So it's just a way that you can kind of help guide their reading, be a part of the course even while they're doing their homework, while they're at home. So you do have the ability to do that. Besides the flashcards and the key terms, if there's another word in here that's kind of difficult for me to understand, but it's not a key term, so it doesn't automatically give me the definition, I can highlight it and click Dictionary, and Merriam-Webster's dictionary is built in here, which is very nice. So I don't have to go to a different site or get a print dictionary and carry it around. I can look up any terms that I might not remember right while I'm reading. Yep. One other thing that I can do with highlighting this text here, I can have it read out loud to me if I click Read Text. And then over here, let me see if I'll be able to hear my computer. But it's actually going to read that text out loud for me. And as it's going along, it's also going to highlight each individual word.
Ethics has deep roots in our legal system. In fact,
so you can see that's helpful for students who might have English as a second language, or even students who just might have a little bit more trouble reading. Having that light up while it's read out loud is used very often. You can also have the entire page read out loud by just clicking this little guy who's speaking. And if students decide to get the app that's free for any of their smartphones, they can also listen to the text through the app. And they can download this ebook to their phone so that they don't have to be using data when they're checking all this stuff out. Up here, yep, so that's something that's good as well. Up here you can also enlarge the size of the text to make sure that it's easier for you to read. You can bookmark a page, and you can print out pages. So if there's a page that's really, really helpful, like maybe I want to really keep these questions for ethical decision making, or there's a helpful chart or a figure that I want to keep, I can print out pages as well. As a student or instructor as well, the first time I saw this, I thought, okay, yeah, you can highlight things, but how easy is it going to be to go back and find where that page was, right? I thought it was important, but now I have to click through this whole ebook to find it again. On this app bar, right, there's the flashcards, but this one that's a blue book with an orange highlighter, this is my favorite app. It's called Study Hub. And if I click this open, it's going to be cataloging all of my notes and highlights that I'm taking throughout the entire ebook. So I had been in chapter 1 at some point. I'm in chapter 2 now. And it'll open kind of as an outline. And I can see here all the notes and highlights that I've made while I've been reading. I can go back to that specific page by clicking the little blue arrow. It'll hyperlink me back to that page right here. So the idea is that on one screen you can have your ebook as well as all of your notes and highlights that you've been making throughout your time doing homework. You can also print this page out, so it kind of acts as a study guide for students. And likewise, I can get right back to any of my bookmarks that I thought were important by clicking the bookmark tab. The study guide tab is also pretty neat. I can create a study guide for a chapter. So let's say, we had class and we did our readings and we did some practice exercises and homework, and now I know that we're going to have a quiz, okay? And I want to study for it. I can name my study guide. Yep, let's call it Chapter 1 Study Guide. And then I can select which chapters I want to include. So if you have a midterm or anything like that and students need to study multiple chapters, they can add multiple ones. But I'm just going to add Chapter 1. and I'm going to select all. So here it's going to include the instructor's shared notes and shared highlights, key terms, any of the flashcards. If I'm a student, I can also choose to add my own notes and highlights as well. And then I've got this study guide here, and it's automatically organized for me with all the key terms, with the notes, any flashcards I might have made for myself, as well as highlights, and again, this is printable. So it's just a good way for students to collect and retain all that information in that annotation work that they're doing while they're reading. The very last thing I want to show you about this cool ebook, as you saw, there's some videos throughout. If you have any videos or any media assets that you usually like to use in class, let's say you have a video that you think is really good with moral principles, the instructor has this little pencil tool right here. That's only the instructor's tool. If I click it, I have some plus signs appear. Anywhere there's a plus sign, I can add some media. So I'm going to add it right at the top of the page under moral principles. And here you can see what you can add. In my content, you can actually add something that's on your computer. So if you have a Word document, a JPEG picture file, or a PowerPoint file, or your own video, anything that you might have on your computer, you can get that through the briefcase. If you just want to take them to a specific website, you can do that here. The See Now homework inline activity would allow you to add some automatically graded questions in there. You might not need to do that because you've already got some homework activities built into your Blackboard course, but you can choose to check that out. And then you can also add an RSS feed, which would give students a live list of current articles on that topic, or a YouTube video. This is kind of the easiest one to visualize, so I'm going to click a YouTube video. And you can see YouTube opens up right in here. I don't have to go outside of MindTap and get a link for YouTube and embed it anywhere. I'm right here. I'm going to say moral standards for Surg Tech, or whatever I want to search. And then here a bunch of videos will come up. So the anesthesia dilemma. Maybe this is a video that I know is going to be useful for my class. So you can watch and preview the whole video here. We do suggest always doing that because this is YouTube, and just to make sure that the video is actually what you want. But here you can also add text before and after any asset that you're going to include. So I might say, watch this before a class. We will discuss, or whatever I want to say, and then click continue. And now this asset has been added right into the ebook. So when students come through and they're reading, they'll see that there was a video added by their instructor. They'll see my instruction. And then the source material citation is always automatically here, as well as the title. And students can watch that video. So you have the ability, again, to not only help direct students with the highlights and the notes, but also to add any of your own content in there. Do you have any questions about the ebook or how I did that? Yeah, great. Well, I'm also recording this, and I know that Sandy, our other strategic account manager, will be able to go over things again on Monday if you even want to log into that training as well. So the ebook is cool. So now let's get into the actual homework assignments, which I'm sure you're interested in. So in each of these, you've got the Prepare, Read, Study, Do. In the Prepare folder, you'll see that there's always a case study, and then also a short reading page that's just a summary of what students will learn. So this is just kind of a prep, get a good idea of what you're going to learn this chapter, and let's participate in kind of a real-world scenario. So if I open up the case study, anytime I open up an assignment, it's going to give me some brief instruction of what I'm going to do. So we'll just have this load for a second. Okay, great. So here's my brief instruction. I'm going to start the assignment now. And you can see it's going to put me in a few, basic scenarios and then ask me some questions. So students are actually writing their own responses here. So it's saying here in the first one, surgical technologist has been asked by the surgeon to inject contrast medium into the cystic duct during an open, ooh, and I'm not going to say that word correctly, cholecystectomy? How do you say it? Oh, woo, that's a big one. So great. So here then it's saying, what scope of practice issues can you identify? Sometimes these scenarios will be even like 2 paragraphs long, and they'll put you deeper in a situation. But students are going to answer, have their own answers here. I'm just going to type something so you can get an idea of how this works. Once I'm done answering, I do have this check my work feature right here. It's going to give me some feedback, but because, I'm writing my own, it's going to basically say, the instructor is going to grade this. And once I'm done, I can click submit for grading. I can also save and come back to this later, but I'm going to submit for grading right now. And then it's gone through. It's gone through. So that kind of assignment is not one that it's going to be automatically graded and flow right into the grade book. This will ask you to grade this. And I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint here since I don't have students in here so you can see how you would grade one of those assignments. But for the manual grading, you would go into the Progress app, which I will get into here. It's a little person in a green circle on the side here. And let me actually get back into that Mind Tap. Okay, so it's the Progress app right here. And I don't have any students, so it's going to tell me it's taking me to a sample. But I can show you here in the PowerPoint. I click into the Progress app. And then when you open the Progress app, you have 4 different tabs. You have an overview, which is going to give you an overview of how your entire class is doing on every assignment in the course. Your analytics, which I can show you, and then your classic grade book, which is going to look a lot like your Blackboard grade book. It will have all of your students' names listed, their overall grade, and then each individual assignment and how each student did on it. If you click that Overview tab, it'll bring you to a list, basically, of all of the assignments in your course, how the entire course is doing on it, and then it'll have any notes if you've added notes. So when you're in here, these assignments that need manual grading will have an orange M listed right next to them. So you would just click on the name of the assignment, and once you do, it'll open that up, and you'll be able to see, which students submitted the assignment, their score, how many times they attempted it. And then you would just click Grade Submissions. So clicking that button will then take you to the screen where you can see all of your individual student submissions. You have the chance to add a grade there. You can add any feedback that you want to and get in there for that. So that's how you would grade one of those. It's really just going into the Progress app, finding the correct assignment in the overview, and then clicking Grade Submissions. Okay, so a lot of these in here are automatically graded, but those assignments where students are writing their own ideas, they will ask you, the instructor, to take a look. Okay, since we're in the Progress app, let's just quickly go into this. I'm going to open up a sample report so I can show you what else you can do in there. So this is just a kind of walkthrough. So here you can see again that overview tab where it's going to have all of your assignments for the course, the due dates for them, and how your entire class is doing. If you click into that specific assignment, then you'll then be able to see how each individual student did on that assignment, and you can click into each individual student as well. On the Analytics tab, which I really wanted to show you, this gives you a visual of how your students are doing on their graded assignments, but also how much they're interacting with MindTap itself. So you can see here, this is a scatter plot. There's a bunch of little dots. Each dot is a student. And when you're in here, you hover over a student and it will show you the student's name. You can click into them to see how they've done on each individual assignment. But really, this helps you to be able to see if there's any outlying students who maybe are spending a lot of time doing readings, they're accessing our study resources like flashcards or practice quizzes, and they're still not doing so well on their grades. So you can see here this student who has the lowest score in the class has also a very low engagement. They haven't logged in very often, haven't been engaging with the activities. Whereas this student over here, even though they still have only about a 60% in the class, they've been spending a little bit more time than about half of the class. So this might be a student that you'd want to reach out to and say, you know, is there anything you're not understanding? And they might need a little extra help. So it's an easy way to see where all of your students are at on one screen. Down here, you can get the entire average grade for your course, but then also the average amount of time your students are spending in here, the amount of time, amount of times they've logged in, and then the percent of activities that they've accessed. And so those activities would include flashcards, spending time in the ebook, watching videos that are in the ebook. If you add any of your own assets, whether it's a Word document or a YouTube video, that would also be included in that percentage. Okay, so do you have any basic questions about the Progress app? I mean, the Blackboard is still your main grade book, but you can see how you can get some analytics on how your students are doing in here. Okay, cool. So getting back into some of the other assignments that you'll see, after prepare, students are reading. In study, here they have their flashcards, so these are just the same flashcards I showed you broken out here. The videos that were in the ebook will also be found here, so they can go back and watch any videos again. And then they'll also have a Chapter 2 review, so these are the PowerPoint slides for the chapter to help them study. The do is going to be their main, where they're spending most of their time completing homework assignments. So they've got the case study in the beginning, and now they're going to have a second case study at the end of the chapter that's going to help them pull in some of the knowledge that they've learned throughout the week. So this is going to act very similar to what you saw before. There's going to be different scenarios, and students are going to have to respond. I'm going to let this open up. Okay, so you can see there's 3 more scenarios and students are answering here, answering some questions. There's also going to be a fill-in-the-blank quiz and a multiple choice and true or false quiz. You can use these as homework grades or as you know, the quiz for the week. So you'll see this is very similar. Students can work down question by question. They can get some brief feedback, and they'll submit. So this one has a lot more questions that students are filling in here. Okay, so these ones will be automatically graded, I believe, and as soon as students are done, they'll see the percentage of grade that they got there. So I'm going to say, I know that this is not right. I'm not even trying to read it, but I'm going to add that, check my work. You can tell me it's incorrect. So it's automatically grading this for the students, and if I submit, it's going to give me a 0, I'm for sure. Yep, and it told me I got a 0%. So I can try to take this again if I want until the due date comes up. So besides that, students will also have certification style exams, and this helps them prepare for the, certification exams that they'll take at the end of the program. So these are sprinkled throughout here as well, and are written to be kind of worded in a very similar way to the exams that they'd be taking. Okay. Do you have any questions about the kinds of assignments that are in here? That's correct. That's correct. And students will most likely be accessing them from Blackboard. So again, this is not how your course is laid out, but say that I'm in week 1 and I have my due. This is probably what the due folder is. I would access each individual assignment by clicking this, right? And then it's going to open up that window and take me to that specific assignment. And then once I complete it, it's going to automatically show up in my Blackboard gradebook as well. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna ask Jeanette that question as well, because she is the one who put these in here. But yeah, that probably is the case, that all of the grades that they want the students to have are already built in. But I can get a final answer for you. So right after this, I'm gonna send those questions to Jeanette and CCU so that we can just make sure that we get an answer as soon as possible. That's a good question, though. Thank you. Okay, cool. So the last thing I want to show you then, we went over quite a few of these apps over here on the side already, but some of the ones I didn't show you, there is the search app. So this is just a magnifying glass. You can search for content in the book or even content from your own notes that you've taken in the book. So I know that I wrote a note that said this is important, I'm pretty sure. And if I search for this, it'll show me all the places in the book that has those terms, but it'll also even bring up my notes and highlights. So if you're in class and students have the print book as well, and you want to tell them to go to like page 33 or something like that, then you can put in a specific page number and it'll take the student there as well. Here we go. Now I came up with that. This is important. There's my note. Right here to the right, this is where you can store RSS feeds. So if you use RSS feeds or if you want more information about them, I'm happy to show you. But basically, if you Google like surgical technology RSS feeds, you'll find sites that have RSS feeds created. And you would just add the link for the RSS feed here. And then what it's going to do is it's going to pull in relevant articles to that topic that are current articles. So you can say I'd have 10 different posts displaying. And if you really want students to be reading current news articles to discuss them in class or use it as an assignment or something like that, you can add those and kind of store them here. You've got your dictionary app, which we had went through. There's also the glossary for the entire book will be found here, this little A to Z symbol. This little orange diamond here, Connect Yard. So in Blackboard, I know that you have the ability to have student discussions and things like that. I don't know if you ever use the student discussions. Connect Yard allows you to also have discussions between students. But something that this has that Blackboard doesn't, if you would ever like to try to use it, the first time that you click on this app, it'll ask you to quickly create a free Connect Yard account. And when you do that, it's asking you what your preferences are for communication. So let's say that, I have my American National University email address, right, which is how you probably usually communicate with students. But some students aren't checking that email. Maybe they have a personal email that they check all the time, or they never really get a message for 24 hours unless it's texted to them. Maybe they're always on Facebook, or they're always on Twitter and checking that. So the idea here is if you have notifications that you want students to be able to receive instantly, and you want to have a way to quickly communicate with students, you can have all your students click on this app, create a profile, and when they do, they're going to decide how they would like to be reached. So whether it's a tweet on Twitter or a Facebook instant message or a text to their cell phone, they can put in that information. And then if you go in here and you write a message to your entire class, class is canceled, whatever you want, post, and we must specify, you can invite users here and invite your entire class, or if you want to just send it to one specific student, then you can, and they'll get notified with their preferred method. So it's just a way to have that kind of instant communication if you want to. It's something you can check out or try a different semester if you'd like. Okay, this little here, this yellow with a swirly, this is PathBright. This is free in here for you to use as well. What it is it gives students access to a digital portfolio. So if you click on this, you can create your account. Then once you create it, then every other time it'll link you to your account. So I've been in here before. As an instructor, it's kind of neat because you can easily create a portfolio or kind of an About Me page to give your students some more information about, your experience, where you're coming from, things that you're interested in. Students can also create their own portfolios, whether it's a personal one, so this is kind of one that I just created for fun, things that I love, or if it's a professional one, so this is a showcase kind of my work at Cengage. Different things that I've worked on or videos that I've created. And so say that students are, doing things in your class that they want to be able to keep for the future to show future employers, whether it's a video of them conducting some kind of procedure, or if they had to write up create a chart or do something correctly, they can upload those files here, and then kind of put them in this neat visual way to have things. So you can see it's a really easy process. It's pretty intuitive once you get in here and play around. But if I want to edit, I can, give a little bit of explanation about me, and then it's literally dragging and dropping files. So I can choose images from my computer, videos, web links, documents, things from social media or Google Drive, or add text. So, you can think of it as two different ways. It can be a way for students to interact with their colleagues during the class and kind of learn a little bit more about each other. A way that you can quickly, create a little page for yourself to interact with your students. But it's also meant to be a tool where students can showcase the work that they're completing throughout the program, and then they actually have access to this for life. So after they're out of their courses, after they're out of MindTap and out of American National University, they can have all of this in one place and show it to future employers. Okay, so it's a fun tool. Feel free to play around with it if you like. You've also got the entire full ebook here, so instead of working chapter by chapter as MindTap is broken out, you can read the whole ebook here. We went over the Progress app and Study Hub. For Read Speaker, while that ebook is being read out loud to them, if you click this little guy speaking here, it'll just give you some settings to change the speed of the way that they're reading, or change it from a male to a female voice. And then the last one that I want to show you here is this See Now app. So this is where all of your assignments are housed, and we can go through this pretty quickly. But again, your assignments are already built, so you do have the ability to change specific questions, change some homework assignment settings in here if you like. If you go in here and check out how your assignments are set up for one, and you know that you want something to be changed for all of them, Jeanette is our expert, so feel free to tell her. You don't have to go through here and change everything yourself. So for instance, I opened up the See Now app, and it's giving me a list of all of the assignments that I've got. I've got 3 pages of assignments. It's showing me, yes, it is linked to my course in Blackboard. I can print it out to kind of take a look at it. I can save as, duplicate it, or edit it. So if I want to edit this first case study, it gives me some options here for the information. I can change basically the name of it. But if I want to edit the assignment options, then I have the choice to kind of change how this might be graded or affect my grade book. So right in here, this is a good thing to do. Click in one of these assignments, click Edit Assignment Options, and see how this is set up. So right now, students are allowed to take this as many times as they want. You can choose to make it only 1 through 10 times. They also have unlimited time, so if you want to set it, students have to complete this in 60 minutes, you can choose to do that. It's also got the score, so this is worth 5 points right now. And then it's also going to say, if students are allowed to take it multiple times, what's going to be graded, the very best time or the last time that they took the assignment. Yep, so you can see these settings are here. So the Check My Work feature, right now students can check it as many times. If you want them to only be able to check it 1 time or never use that Check My Work feature, you can set that here as well. So you've got options there. And again, if you're looking in those options and you say, this is how I want all of my assignments set up, but I don't have the time to go into every single assignment and edit it, let Jeanette know, okay? And then she can help you with that. Okay. So I know we went over a lot today, and I've got some questions that I'm going to ask and bring back about the lab manual, as well. Because I personally was thinking that the lab manual was not inside this Mind Tap. I thought that you still needed the print version, but I'm going to verify. And then also your ability to change or add things inside Blackboard itself. Is there anything else, any other questions that you have at this time? Yeah, so I believe, and again, I'm going to have to ask Jeanette, sorry, because she made your specific course, but I believe that those are probably coming from this See Now app. They're going to be marked as an exam, and students would access them in Blackboard, but it's going to open up a Mind Tap window, right? So I can navigate through the whole course using, these different views, but students, for the most part, are going to be in Blackboard. They'll go into content, and they'll go into that folder for that week and then work through all of these links. So if in the do folder, you've got a quiz link, they'll access it by clicking, the quiz in that folder, and then it will open up as an individual window. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. If they're pre-built. Okay. Yeah, and I understand that goes back to the question of, can you add your own stuff in Blackboard like you would before, right? So let me ask Jeanette that question, and if she doesn't know, then we'll loop in Paulette. Okay. So you had already had all that stuff ready. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let me ask, cuz maybe even it's just a naming convention thing. Like maybe what is showing up as a quiz is supposed to be the exam. Um you know what I mean? It might be even something as simple as that, but we'll figure it out for you, cuz I know that that's kind of confusing. Okay. Okay, well, you'll see an email from me asking those questions, and we'll get those answers for you. And if there's anything else you need, I'm going to send you, when we're done, the link to, let me find it, our service website, which I had up here somewhere. But basically, it's the one that has that video from Jeanette. It has other resources that you can check out to learn more about MindTap. And it's also got all of our contact information. I'll give you the recording of this video as well if there's anything you want to go over again. But otherwise, I hope you have a great night, and we'll get those other questions answered for you. Okay, thank you, Nicole. Have a good one. Bye.